So, episode number 4. These are racking up fairly quick. I only started this 2 days ago. So, this is so today I'm chatting with Peter. Peter's a friend of mine who lived in Cork and has got an interesting story of how COVID-19 has kind of fucked up plans and can change things. What's the story, man? How are you?
Yeah, doing okay given the circumstances. Strange times. I've had better apocalypses, but certainly a lot of plans being disrupted. Certainly not the only one, but no.
Where are you now?
I'm back home in Wexford currently at the home house. So I had originally been planning on spending 3 weeks here, and then flying out to Vietnam, doing a bit of traveling, moving to Australia. So something that we've been planning, myself and my girlfriend, for a couple of years now, to move across to Australia. So we're supposed to be flying out March 25th, but as you can tell,
that's not happening.
No, that's not going to go ahead.
And obviously, I met you through work. We worked together.
Yeah.
You gave up that job to move to Australia.
Yeah, so
to a degree.
To a degree. So kind of more layers to the onion. So I left. So we were working for a software company down in Cork. So I work in the kind of sales side of that. And as both of us know, great place to work, great job to have. Wasn't easy moving there to Australia. But after handing in my notice, they turned around and offered a position down in our Australian office. So it was kind of dream come true time. Kind of the ideal situation, have a job down there, already have sponsorship, a lot of weight off the shoulder, but obviously that has been significantly disrupted, to say the least.
Up in the air, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, who knows what the hell is going to happen after this and what way the world's going to be, who's going to be in a recession, all of us probably. So, I mean, obviously there's significant doubt now over, what's going to go on.
Yeah, man. And what are you, how are you fixed in terms of what can you do right now? You can't do anything. There's no jobs to get. There's no matter where you are.
No, I'm lucky in that I kind of do a little bit of side project work with an AI company. It's my buddy's company, a startup. So, I'm helping him out with a few things on the business side of that. So I am kept busy, to be fair. But not as busy as I'd like to be.
And you and your missus don't live or don't come from the same kind of home areas.
No,
so how's that working?
It's working. It's exactly what it says on the tin. There's just no obviously not no contact. Everybody has all their video services and everything downloaded now. But it's going to be waiting it out to see when the lockdown ends with that. So
that's hard because you've lived together for a long time and you gave up the place where you were living to move to Oz, go home for a few weeks and then move together.
Exactly, yeah. So it was supposed to be kind of a 3-week thing and then a bit of traveling. So it kind of just, it accelerated so fast, from, I think it was kind of when I got home. So I came home from Cork the end of February, and kind of that first week, it was like, coronavirus taking off a bit. 2 or 3 days time, then the kind of questions on if we could travel to Vietnam or not. So we were supposed to meet a friend's couple who are actually stuck out there now in Vietnam. So,
good decision not to go.
Yeah. It was hard because the decisions kept having to change. So it was like, well, do we do Vietnam or do we go straight to Australia? Vietnam, they kept the numbers down for a bit. And then will we get into Australia? And then within 3 days time, that had changed to, do we kind of book our flight for sooner to get out there quickly? So I think it was the day after then, 14-day quarantine. So that kind of added complexity to it because you're like, what do we do when we get out there? Because first, do you find an Airbnb? Will an Airbnb allow you to self-quarantine there? And then what do we do? Fucking ask our friends who are down in Sydney to drop us food every few days, for 2 weeks.
Welcome to Australia.
And then even after that, then it was like, okay, well, that would kind of be worth it, but what's going to be the crack afterwards? What if it goes on lockdown, we can't find a place to live? What if if there's no house viewings? And then obviously Claire was probably going to be looking for a job down there. It's like, is anybody hiring? So yeah, look, kind of
So you
happened.
made the right decisions, really, I
Yeah,
suppose.
yeah. Well, it was made for us, but look, thankfully it was, because there was a bit of doubt at the start. But then, you hear the horror stories. My buddy was actually on that emergency flight home from Peru.
Okay.
Yeah, he got stuck over in Cusco, traveling South America. He was supposed to be traveling for a year. He's only been out there for about 3 months, but yeah, I suppose you can feel. So yeah, he got home on that emergency flight. So I think I'm in the same boat as everybody, in that you have your kind of introspective moments of like, oh, this is fucking shit crack, like, why is this happening? But then, like, all you have to hear is somebody else's fucking worst story, and you're like, nah, and it's just, or turn on the news.
And how are you keeping positive in that respect? Like,
you look, it's just a thing. Like, it is what it is. You kind of, you can kind of laugh and cry over the fact that, every holiday that myself and my girlfriend have been on, it's been a fucking, like, there's something happening. We're in fucking Portugal during the wildfires, and we had fucking ash snowing down on us, waiting for a fucking warning sign to run out down to the beach. Fucking Madrid, we go to Madrid during the summer. It lashed rain for about 3 days. The only 3 days it actually lashed in Madrid. There's just a concoction of just places we go, and it just turns out to be a fucking disaster. So there's no shock that when you make the biggest move of your life, obviously the logical next step up is, global apocalypse. That's kind of that's the linear path.
That's
so
it, man. Setting benchmarks, man.
Yeah. So you can only laugh about it. Like, at the end of the day, look, we're not fucking nurses in Italy. Look, if I have to stay home and get a little fat for a while.
Yeah, I'm getting good at that, man. I bought an exercise bike yesterday. It's man, more for Noah, so
keep them active. Moving. Yeah, I got a set of resistance bands. Actually, they're actually top notch, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that. Like Sarah was saying that as well, just to do a little bit. We've got we're lucky with the length of the garden that we've got. We can do a bit. So
sure.
But yeah, no, we're grand. We're alive, aren't we? We're not. I'm not sick anyway.
That's it. Like, and I think another thing as well that you start kind of realizing, everybody kind of has a bit of confirmation bias, and they're like, it's either just the old people that die, or it's just the sick people. But I think when you look around, you start realizing there's a lot more people kind of at risk than you'd think.
It just depends how it reacts with you. It seems.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of confident enough in it, and then I realized, well, my dad has asthma and diabetes, and he's 63. My mother is in her late 50s, and she only has one lung. And then I was like, oh, fuck, actually, they're actually fairly, it kind of hits home a bit,
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that are the exact same.
Yeah, and are you full on isolation? Do you go out? What's the...
No, I'm up here in the hills. I get plenty of exercise. We're up here in the hills, so plenty of fields around us to explore. And we've a woods
coming across beside
us. Exactly, yeah. So, but in terms of actually being out, I mean, myself and Claire went down to Kerry there, just to her aunt's holiday home, for 3 days in the middle of last week. But again, didn't meet anybody. Straight down there in the car before the full lockdown came down, and didn't venture outside the house down there. But yeah, I in terms of actually being out and about, nothing. And even it was even kind of because I was just being lazy probably the week I arrived. So, like, I'm just not bothering fucking doing anything. I was just at home, and I was like, just lazy around, you're just like, fuck all. So I've actually been, I think I've been out of the house, including Kerry, in the last month. I've been out of the house 3 times.
Okay.
3 times. So and that's just quickly to the shop and then back.
Yeah, that's my job, is the shop runner, man.
Yeah.
My missus don't go out. The kids, like, it's been 3 weeks today, actually. So they self-isolated for a day or two before we got told we needed to, So it's been okay. But yeah, then runs to the shop and my only escape, really.
I know,
I went to see my weed dealer there yesterday, man. I've never been so happy to see him. I rang him there, and it was like Sunday, and he was like, "Nah, man, not until at least Tuesday. I'm not getting out and about all the time." I was like, "Wow."
So seeing victims of the crisis, I'm telling you. It happened as well. It happened as well when we moved to. I lived in Hungary for a little bit, and we moved there summer of 2015, I want to say. And again, fucking disaster. Moved there on the eve of the Syrian refugee crisis, and all the Syrian refugees were being stopped in Budapest because they're fucking right-wing dickheads, and they wouldn't let them continue on to Munich. So we arrived in for this like party fucking holiday, and there's Syrian refugees fucking everywhere. And we're like, oh fuck, this is fucking real. We weren't like particularly complaining there. We're just like, fuck, this is. So yeah, and it's the same thing. The unforeseen victims. Not obviously, this is a bit of a joke now, but obviously because of that, they locked down the borders. And Hungary's super fucking right wing, super strict to get all their weed from fucking Czech. So arrived down to this party place, no fucking weed, and like in a very serious situation where we only lived about a kilometer away from Legalisation station. But yeah, strange.
I think with the I think it's becoming more and more open people about weed, and the way things are in America is definitely helping that. But I would certainly legalize it even for this isolation period.
Yeah, keep people in. 100%. No,
you make a lot of money and it'll keep people.
No, you would, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of, I'd say, innovative ways that people are going to be getting around stuff. But yeah, it's. If anything, I think that what will come out of this whole coronavirus thing is, medical security and health is obviously going to get a big push from a government level. And you would kind of hope that if there's a kind of progressive thinking in that and that whole kind of movement of, just what are the numbers, what's best for us, then that will kind of permeate through. But I don't really see it happening in Ireland before the UK anyway, and that's
it's certainly not going to be on top of many people's agenda at the moment. It's certainly a lot more. So, I just personally think that if people are struggling to stay in and struggling with, have a fucking smoke, you let your mind go wandering. You don't have to.
Well, there's going to be a plethora of mental health issues, from
massive. I was chatting with Sarah about that today. She's she suffers anxiety and she speaks to a counsellor on a regular basis just to get help, and that counsellor is up the walls at the moment and knows that it's coming, because that's the biggest fear. It's not the coronavirus that's going to kill people, it's going to be the mental health effects problems.
Well, I think the scariest thing about something as serious as this as well is that it's really hard to look forward to what the knock-on effects are. And you might think that we're going to get affected in this one area and there's going to be something else, that just pops up.
So many
things like that. And that's where it gets difficult to keep a lockdown going, but from economically, it's a fucking disaster. But then obviously from an actual public order level as well. I mean, I saw in Italy already serious public order issues down south. It's a lot poorer down south of Italy and very mafioso run, and it's essentially just society. It's fucking breaking down, and they don't even have it there. I mean, Italy is so badly affected, but that's their rich period. They're rich period. They're rich region. And so if it goes down south, so the scary thing about it, it's hard to know. Different countries, and you've like South Korea, who seem to have contained it pretty well. But you'd hope.
What do you think of the positives that's come out of it, rather than talking about the negatives as much? What would you think is the positives?
I think that if people kind of have a bit of get up and go enough and get over the kind of hangover and realize, that we are going to be stuck like this for at least another 6 weeks, I'd say anyway. Realistically, I know it's April 19th, but look, that's what the government are doing. They're just bleeding it out. And look, probably fucking rightfully so, because if they just came out and said, look, you're stuck for 2 months, we all go fucking nuts, So, so they're probably right enough in their assessment doing that. But positives are, look, if you have a lot of time on your hands, we don't know what kind of state the economy. A lot of people job security is fairly tough. And like what's going to come out of it is you realize the productivity you might be able to do on the internet, things like LinkedIn learning courses, things like that. It's kind of, if you... I
think there'll be a lot of e-commerce as well that'll come out of this.
Huge amount, yeah. Look, there's a lot of talk about companies that are going to, they're going to pause now and they're never going to come back. But the vast majority of those companies, well, in a lot of sectors, maybe it's not true for the likes of restaurants and stuff, but a lot of companies got caught out who weren't fully up there with their e-commerce and their internet, and it's a kind of Darwinian thing, the best will survive. That's what business is. And if you weren't, it's the same thing with a lot of kind of what happened in Ireland about pubs recently. My town I think it was back in 2004, had 63 pubs for a 5,000 person town, and now there's 11. So, and that's a lot of that is because obviously the drink driving stuff, people can't drive home locked. But then another big part of it as well is that they were just used to having the door open, people walking in. They didn't have to do any kind of marketing or anything like that. So but unfortunately, the restaurant industry, I think, and the airlines are just going to get absolutely.
Well, I've noticed like there's a lot of chefs there now, for example, that are doing like a guy that I know you've spoke to in the past, Mindas. He's him and his girlfriend and another couple the other day got online with another chef through Zoom, and they said, like, these are the ingredients that we've got. Both couples had those ingredients. The chef came up with a dinner out of those ingredients, and then once they'd cooked it and done it for the hour, the chef then dropped off the line, and the other two stayed on and had their dinner together. I think each couple paid €20 each or something. It's €20 per screen or whatever. So you might get 3 couples on there, and it's the chef earning a bit of money to show people how to do these things. I think there's going to be a lot of that kind of business. I think 100%. There's going to be a lot of people getting a bit creative and selling stuff, whether it be, the amount of things that you can come up with these days and sell online that you can 100%. Do yourself is I think 1-man shows and 2-man small businesses will grow.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's really going to show people, a lot of people who might have been afraid to get into business as well. There's never been an easier time. Like, think about now if you want to start up a business back in the 50s, let's say, and like realistically, if you're bringing a product to market, what are you thinking? Like, I'm going to need to get a factory, source raw materials, there needs to be a supply chain there. Like, there has never been an easier time to like add value to the economy through like technology, or through companies. Like, it's never been easier to do that. Like, as I mentioned, I'm doing kind of a bit of work for my buddy's startup. It's an AI and artificial intelligence company. And lots of PhDs on board, really clever guys. They've built a really powerful algorithm, not a huge amount of business acumen, or how to, there's one thing thinking of a business, but then what's the process of how do I actually get that in the hands of a customer? And so that's kind of where I'm helping out. But I mean, I have no idea how to build websites, no idea. This is the perfect time. I said, look, give it to me. I'll figure out WordPress. And like, honestly, 3 days, I'll actually send you the link to the homepage. I'm working on it 3 days. It's never been easier to create an awesome looking website. And if you're just doing stuff like that, things like that, chefs and stuff, that's a very smart idea, So there's going to be a lot of innovation that comes out of this. Like, there is going to be a huge amount of positives, and it's a lot about how, people kind of embrace it, and then probably a little bit of, it's people. I would hope anyway. I hope I get a bit of kind of perspective on time and a bit of maybe time
to important and how quick you need to move on things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, instead of just kind of being lazy, kind of coming home from work, lying on the couch, you realize you might be able to use your time a bit better.
I think there's two. For me, I've either, when I was younger, I used to act without thinking. I'd go into action. There was too much action without any thought. Yeah. And now as I'm a bit older, there's too much thought and not enough action.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just need to find the balance and just kind of go with it. And that's why I thought, 100%. You know what? There's going to be plenty of people with time on their hands. Yeah. I found this app that can do virtual recordings. You get your own line, I get my own line, and I mix them here together. So the sound's really good. And I was like, just fuck it, why not? Like, always talk about doing it. Let's just do it, and what harm? And I think in times of business like this, I think it is a case of finding what people would like, what people need, because all our needs have changed.
Yeah, completely.
Instantly.
Yeah.
So thinking about what people need, where you can get that, because you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Do you know what I mean? Just go and 100%. Find what people need now, and go and find where you can get that, and market it well, and get people to buy it through you.
And it's honestly never been easier to do, like, I mean, if you talk about your costs, like the cost of this app, if you really want to spin things up, some, Google ad space, like that's the cost of doing it,
This app for me too, I got the 7-day free trial, which I'm still using. I've just made sure I've hammered it in that time. I think for up to 5 hours of recording a month, there's it's about $7 or $8 or something like that. $17 if you need more. It just depends how it takes off and how it grows, and how many, and I can upgrade once I need to upgrade. So it's not a cost. And then
Yeah,
social media costs you nothing, right?
yeah, 100%. And like, it's good to kind of do, like, the great thing about technology is then that, like, a guy like you can do it, and you can, flex your skills a bit, flex,
Yeah.
find stuff that's there, and there's obviously a lot of shit going around with technology
There's
and
already kind of
people.
add-ons and bits like the logo there that I had to get through.
Yeah, yeah,
I got it at a very reasonable price through a relation, but a bit of business for them, and I'll put their name on it, and with social media, if I'm doing something like this, you're going to share this because you're on it. Every guest that
absolutely.
I've had is going to share it because they're on it. And it just grows arms and legs that way. That's why I think this could be, here, I'm not trying to make money out of this. I just
Yeah,
want
yeah,
something
yeah.
to do, man. If money comes from it at some point through ads and promotions and, sponsors, etc., then great. But
Yeah,
right now, it's just, I want every person I spoke to so far has got a very different perspective, a very different thought and meaning of what isolation is and what you're meant to be doing,
sure.
lockdown or not lockdown. I'm speaking to people in different countries who had all been told different things from different governments. So
Yeah,
I just thought, yeah, why not? It's an interesting thing to do. And
yeah,
and
no,
afterwards, I felt like an isolated ape way
yeah.
before this. So I just thought it was a good name and a good thing to go with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was listening to Monica's one before this. All right. Yeah, it seems a bit more relaxed over in the States anyway.
Yeah,
Similar to the
and
UK.
Ian's one as well. There, he's over in the Netherlands, and they've got a different way of doing things as well. And
Yeah,
Mindas was in Valencia, who, as he said 3 weeks ago, they were at a festival, loads of people there, and now it's fucking
it's
dead.
yeah. I
Everyone's
mean,
dying. So
Spain and
different.
countries. What a lot of people think about Spain, but their healthcare system was actually pretty strong. So to see that actually
Mate,
just
I
fall
can tell
apart.
you now. Like I've got three children. One was born in Spain, two were born
Yeah,
here in Ireland, and Spain was amazing. Ireland,
yeah.
neither of those births went well.
No.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
don't know.
scary, and I think the UK now, like whatever. I think the only number that's actually relevant really is ICU ventilators per what we expect to need. Like all about like the thing I saw recently, Dr. Jerry Burke, I think is the guy, and he kind of shared this chart of Ireland's daily rate going down. And look, it's all well and good and it's looking for a bit of positivity, but like that means fuck all unless you put it into context of how many tests are actually being done. Like, you're posting something about, a daily infection rate growing while we're simultaneously hearing about Park y Cueve having to be closed because they run out of tests. And it's like,
Yeah,
what this means, fuck all. Like
yeah,
like last week, the HSE that said there's 40,000 people waiting to get tested. Like, so any new daily rate now is just like scooping out of that barrel. Like, it's not even new fucking. So
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, who knows? Hopefully, just this lockdown actually works, and hopefully, fucking the kind of sacrifice that's being made is, it pays off.
Yeah. Tell me what you're looking forward to getting back to, and then let's start with a negative and finish with a positive because
Okay,
there's about 10 minutes left. So
fair enough.
what are you happy to leave behind? What are you hoping doesn't come when this changes? What changes?
Um,
That was
I'm
a
not
terrible
sure.
phrase of a question, by the way.
Yeah,
But you know exactly what I mean, right?
yeah. What kind of falls apart? Well, on the topic of business, obviously the stronger companies will survive. There'll obviously be unfortunate circumstances for a lot of companies that there wasn't their fault or whatever. But generally, what that would mean is like, consumers kind of get a better service, get a product. So probably, a bit of kind of some of the laziness around that. But yeah, in general, I don't know. I just, like, things are pretty good before. So you know, I just hope it returns somewhat back to normal. And there's nothing really that you'd like to see go. Um, hopefully, it won't kill our cheap airlines too much. But
Yeah, I think for me, the things that I want to see go is the like. I think we're all stuck on social media anyway. I think we've all heightened our
yeah,
screen time, and I hope that when we
yeah,
are allowed out, we fucking embrace that shit
that's very true.
massively.
Yeah,
They're the kind of things I want to be left behind, and being able to like go and spend face to face and social time with friends, family. I think I want to
yeah,
spend some like people are like, you coming for a pint? I'd be like, yeah, and then oh, no, I can't, mate. blame it on the kids, and it's just me. Can't be fucked.
Yeah.
Fuck that, mate. I'm there. I am there, 100%. You know.
No, yeah.
That kind of thing. I'm happy to
I
leave
definitely
behind.
agree. Yeah, no, like it is something that I don't use. Like, look, I have Instagram. I post, I'd say, once every 2 months, maybe, if that, you know, and it is something I fucking hate, you know, people just scrolling, checking likes and all that shit, but don't really see that as something, you know, don't really see that as something that calming down over this. It's probably just going to worsen it. You know, you'll have that brief, like, look, it's going to be a great week when it all calms down, or basically whenever the pubs open and they're like, okay, well, at least open some pubs. Like, it'll be a fucking lash of a week, you know. But then
Do you
after
think
that,
it will? Do you think everyone's going to go straight mad at it, or do you think it's going to have a bit of a sporadic effect?
No, I'd say it'll probably be. It won't be like a straight opening the gates. I think like you'll get a lot of people holding back for a bit. But no, but like, look, at the end of the day, it's the same people. Probably look, all those people who are at Cheltenham. You know, they're going to go straight back out in the fucking lash. You know, like they're like, you know, and there's a lot of fucking people there. So look, I think that, yeah, I think that so many people, enough people will be like so urgently wanting to get out that, yeah, they'll go out of the floodgates. It'll probably last for a week or two. And then fuck, it might come fucking roaring back. Fuck knows, yeah.
And what's your plan? You going to Oz? You're going to hang around? Have you had that discussion yet?
Yeah, no.
Will you be allowed to go to Oz?
Yeah, no, look, we should be. Look, I think a good result to be June 1st. That'll be a really, really good result for us. Like, we are, it's still, plans are the same. First flight out. But yeah, like, look, I'm hoping June 1st. The Australians seem to be a bit like the UK about it. So it wouldn't fill you with hope. But yeah, it's just kind of a waiting game until then. And yeah, that's the plan. Just get out there straight away and then, you know, play it by ear.
Cool. Listen, man, we're coming up to a good time there, so thanks very much for the conversation today. It was good, really good.
No worries at all.
We will, I'll be putting, like I said, I only started this 2 days ago. I've fired up a few there now really quickly. I'm going to start doing the socials and start promoting it now that there's a bit of a few that people can look at, and I'm going to try and do at least one a day. So keep your ears out, share it for me.
I will. And, will do, man.
I may even go back and revisit people, kind of, if we're here in 12 weeks' time in the same position, see what everyone's frame of mind is then.
No, man, I'd look forward to it. Look, it's a great idea. Definitely, look, I hope it takes off you. You know, because it is a good idea, but it was a good chat. Thanks for having me.
Cool. Listen, man, take care of yourself. Stay safe. Be good. Bye-bye.